Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Alex, the Bareback Contessa, and I'm here to help you fill your home with things and people that you love. Today, we're going to go through Vogue's interior design predictions for 2025. They talked with 11 top designers about what they think the trends for 2025 are, and I'm going to help you incorporate them into your own home. The first what's in is drapery. Drapery is stepping into the spotlight as more than just a functional item, it's becoming an art form. More is more with over-the-top drapery, balloon shades, mixing prints, and interesting color combinations. What this says to me is that your curtains and what you choose need to be about more than just function. They should offer you some privacy, diffuse the light, or give you a total blackout look if that's what you're going for. But there are more interesting options, and they should be make more of an impact in your space. Maybe bringing in a velvet or really heavy-duty linen, something with custom pleating, adding in a fun and interesting pattern for your curtains, making them a really impactful moment rather than something that is just about the function in the space. Kelly B from Deeply Madly Modern says that drapes are the eyebrows of your room. When they're right, everything else looks good, but when they're wrong, no matter how much dressing up you do, the room is still going to feel off. So by paying extra attention to the length, adding in an interesting pattern, an interesting texture, that are a great way to dress up the eyebrows of your room. The next in is Art Deco. So Jeremiah Brent predicts that Art Deco will be having a bit of a moment. And Art Deco is really characterized by geometric shapes and patterns that repeat, by really bold and saturated colors and symmetry. I think, the obvious choice is finding Art Deco furniture on Facebook Marketplace and bringing those vintage items into your home. But it can also be bringing in primary colors. The unexpected red theory is kind of rooted in Art Deco in this way, bringing in bold blues, reds, yellows, greens, bringing in really rich saturated colors can also match this aesthetic. Geometric patterns in wallpaper or drapery, like we just spoke about, the throw pillows you're using, the blankets, the textiles you have in your space, that can be another way to bring this boldness into your home. And think about those characteristics contrasted with mid-century modern, which is still having a moment, but is much more about clean lines, basic, really functional aesthetics, kind of an overcorrection of the drama of Art Deco. So now you can see the pendulum is swinging in the ornamental direction of it. The next in from Alfredo Paredes is brown furniture. The revival of brown furniture marks an exciting shift in interior design. They're finding new life among those seeking to add authenticity and historical depth to contemporary spaces. Now I have a brown velvet sofa that I love dearly, so I'm already giving into this trend. But I think that brown in general is really having a moment. You see, there are so many beautiful, deep, rich chocolate brown paint colors. My favorite is Wenge by Benjamin Moore. There's a lot of brown velvet fabrics that are making a comeback. It is a deeply rich and these shades of brown that we're seeing in interior design are really rich and saturated and warm and they feel like a hug. Bringing brown into your home is pretty self-explanatory. Maybe consider using a really deep saturated brown in a small space like your bathroom, which is what I'm going to be doing in a couple weeks. Bring it into a foyer or a hallway. Bring in brown, look for a brown velvet duvet cover, maybe brown on a throw pillow. But what this, I think, trend really emphasizes to me is that we are moving away from the all white minimalist aesthetic and really the pendulum is swinging in the other direction. So bringing in really deep, rich, saturated colors to your space to make it feel more cozy and homey. That is what brown furniture symbolizes to me. The next in is verdigris, which is the bluish patina that we see on aged copper. It is a sign of wear and tear. It is something that, happens as copper oxidizes. It is a natural part of the process. And I think that also speaks to this idea of a really cozy, comfortable lived-in space. Obviously, if you have any copper pieces in your home, allowing them to build up a patina is an obvious way to let this trend happen. But I think that can show its face in things like silver as well. Anything that you have that is untreated and uncoated is going to build up a patina over time. Allowing those items in your home to just show their age and show that they're used, I think also adds a layer of warmth to your space. I love the look of unpolished silver. I think that it really feels cozy. and feels lived in. The next in is velvets, which I think have been in for a number of years. In all forms have become the go-to texture, replacing the soft boucle of previous years. I think that replacing some of your throw pillows with something that is velvet, replacing the curtains with something that is velvet, thinking maybe like a velvet table runner as well. Again, the overarching theme seems to be bringing in warm, cozy things to make your space feel very homey and lived in. All right, the next in is the flame stitch, which is 17th century stitch pattern that's showing up in rugs, wallpapers, fabrics. I'll insert some photos, but it almost looks like a really organic chevron pattern. So again, thinking about those organic shapes in our space, we're seeing the pendulum shift from these very geometric patterns, straight lines, right angles, over to a much more organic, lived in feel. So I'm a big proponent for a vintage Persian rug anyway. Well, that's not exactly flame stitch. That will bring in the same feeling of warmth. The next prediction is jewel tones, especially yellow. We're seeing the natural dyes of tapestries and patterned carpets come through in understated jewel tones. Not super bright, but rather rich, deep, and sensual. I think, again, this prediction screams warm, lived-in, cozy spaces, opposite of the all-white minimalist aesthetic that we have been seeing in so much of interior design over the last decade or so. When we're thinking of how we can incorporate jewel tones into our space, think about the bright, saturated alternatives to the pastel versions that we might have seen in our homes before. Again, change out some accessories like your throw pillows, your blankets. Give some of your frames a custom paint job. Paint some of your frames a really rich red, blue, yellow, but think more saturated than pastel. All right, the next trend is shambalism. To me, shambalism is the equivalent of the intentional clutter trend that we were seeing around TikTok. It's about, not having like pristine empty surfaces in our home. It's about putting a stack of books on a coffee table, a slightly disheveled arrangement of items on a shelf. It's about creating layers in your home that make it feel lived in. The next one that jumps out to me is mixing different woods and metals. I think that, again, the pendulum is swinging from these highly curated spaces to more of an eclectic and collected feel. The way you can bring this into your home is having different wood finishes in one space. I still think you should choose a direction of warm-toned wood or cool-toned wood, but you don't have to worry about making sure every piece of wood furniture in one room is all mahogany or all walnut. You have the freedom to incorporate different styles and different pieces to create this layered feeling that we are going for. Some of the outs, I think, tie into what I've been saying so far. All white interiors are out. Over curation is out. So to summarize all of that, as I've said like 5 times already, the pendulum is swinging from these over-curated minimalist spaces to a space that feels more cozy and lived in. We are bringing more color and texture and pattern into our spaces. They are becoming more of a reflection of us rather than just a regurgitation of what we've seen online. And while we can still fall into those same, rabbit holes of trying to hop onto trends, I hope that we are seeing the end of these fast-moving micro trends that you can never quite keep up to. So what are my action steps for you moving forward? I think step 1 is introduce a new color into your home. Think about the color palette that you already have. If it's feeling a little flat, find one, let's say jewel tone or highly saturated color, a deep maroon, a cobalt blue, maybe an olive green, and incorporate that into your space. Bring in a throw pillow in that color. Bring in maybe some curtains in that color. Start slowly to add that texture in. Spend some time in a thrift store and find some tchotchkes to bring home and sit on your coffee table. Slowly add things into your space that feel good and feel like you. If you're really not sure where to start, I offer free discovery calls. Sign up at the link down below. If you found this at all helpful, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. It helps push the video out to other cool people like you. And if you really want to help me out, send the video to one person that you think could get something from this. I'll see you back here next week. Bye.